Namaskar and welcome to Newsnight, national agenda setting prime time show. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today, viewers, talked about formulating a common exit strategy once the lockdown ends. Prime Minister Modi, remember, has also emphasized that the collective goal of all should be to save every Indian. And I think that's a very, very strong message that has gone again from our Prime Minister to the rest of the country. And today, it's been more than a week. On Newsnight tonight, we take a stock of the situation on ground of the lockdown and social distancing vis-a-vis Prime Minister Modi leading the way in this fight, the national fight against corona. I'm Sakal Bhatt. First up, the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with the Chief Minister by video conferencing to discuss measures to combat COVID-19, urges Chief Ministers to increase focus on tracing, isolation and quarantine, outlines the common goal for the country to ensure minimum loss of life. Prime Minister praises states for working together as a team to check the spread of the virus, says states and centre must formulate a common exit strategy to ensure staggered re-emergence of population once lockdown ends. Prime Minister Modi also asked Chief Ministers to reach out to community leaders and social welfare organizations, adopt community approach in the battle against the pandemic. Chief Ministers brief steps taken to contain spread of cases arising from Nizamuddin Markaz. Home Ministry intensifies campaign with states and union territories, identifies 9,000 people associated with Tablighi Jamaat. Among them are 1,306 foreign nationals. Health Ministry says 1,804 people quarantined out of 2,000 associated with the Markaz. Centre launches Arogya Setu app in 11 languages for information related to coronavirus. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting starts COVID-19 fact-check unit in the Press Information Bureau. Information can be obtained through email. Home Secretary has asked Chief Secretaries of the states to have such a system, to evolve such a system. And Home Minister Amit Shah slams Congress for its statement of lockdown without preparation, calling the statement of the Congress irresponsible. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar and Union Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad call Congress statement unfortunate. World Health Organization praises Prime Minister Modi for initiating landmark measures to help the poor and underprivileged sections during the corona crisis. And coronavirus claims more than 47,000 lives. Britain sees spike in death rate, 24% up in last 24 hours. Meanwhile, Italy, Spain, America, France and Iran, including Britain, most affected by the corona crisis. Viewers, today Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with Chief Ministers of states via video conferencing to discuss comprehensively measures to combat COVID-19. He thanked the states for supporting the decision of the lockdown, due to which India has achieved some success in limiting the spread of COVID-19. Prime Minister praised how all the states have worked together as a team to check the spread of this virus. He urged them to involve community leaders and also social organizations in this concerted and coordinated fight. Prime Minister made several suggestions for the days ahead in this long and difficult battle against COVID-19. We have this report.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi continued a series of interactions via video conferencing since the lockdown was announced. In his second such interaction with chief ministers, Prime Minister said the common goal of all governments was to ensure minimum loss of life. He said testing, tracing, isolation and quarantine should remain the areas of focus. PM highlighted the necessity of maintaining supply of essential medical products, availability of raw material for manufacture of medicines and medical equipment. PM Modi said it is necessary to ensure availability of separate, dedicated hospital facilities for COVID-19 patients. To increase the availability of doctors, he asked the states to tap into the resource pool of Ayush doctors, organize online training and utilize paramedic staff, NCC, and NSS volunteers. Underscoring the importance of coordinated action and the need to avoid overlaps in efforts of stakeholders, Prime Minister called for the setting up of crisis management groups at district level and appointment of district surveillance officers. He said that data must be taken from the accredited labs for testing. This will ensure congruence in data of district, state and centre. Prime Minister said that it is necessary to ensure staggered release of funds to the beneficiaries under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana to avoid crowding at banks. Considering that this is the time for harvest of crops, the government has given some relaxation for lockdown, but it is necessary to continuously monitor and maintain social distancing as much as possible. Prime Minister asked the states to think of other platforms for procuring grains, apart from APMC, and explore the possibility of creating pooling platforms for rural areas, like ride-sharing apps, which can be used for this purpose. The Chief Ministers thanked the Prime Minister for his leadership, continuous guidance and support in this time of crisis. They appreciated the Prime Minister for taking the bold and timely decision of lockdown. They shared their efforts of maintaining social distancing, tracking suspect cases, identifying and quarantining suspect cases arising from Nizamuddin Markaz, containing community transmission and boosting medical infrastructure. Chief Ministers also apprised the Prime Minister of the steps taken to distribute food and other essentials to those in need and taking care of migrant workers. The states spoke about the importance of mobilizing resources, financial as well as medical, to mitigate the crisis. Responding to this, Prime Minister said that it is imperative to work on a war footing, especially to identify hotspots of the virus and ensure that the virus does not spread out. He said that it is essential to maintain peace and law and order across the country. Prime Minister appealed to the leaders to reach out to the community leaders and social welfare organizations at all levels to build up a united community approach to battle the pandemic.
कोरोना वायरस ने हमारी आस्था, हमारी परंपरा, हमारे विश्वास, हमारी विचारधारा, इन सभी पर हमला बोला है। इसलिए हमें अपनी आस्था, हमारे पंथ, हमारी विचारधारा को बचाने के लिए सबसे पहले कोरोना वायरस को परास्त करना पड़ेगा। आज आवश्यकता है कि सभी मत, पंथ, विचारधारा के लोग एकजुट होकर कोरोना महामारी को पराजित करें। मेरा आग्रह है कि राज्य स्तर पर आप समाज के गणमान्य व्यक्तियों, सभी संप्रदायों के धर्मगुरुओं, उनकी मीटिंग बुलाकर उनसे आग्रह करें कि वो अपने अपने अनुयायियों को, अपने मतपथ के लोगों को, अपनी विचारधारा के लोगों को इस लड़ाई में भागीदार बनने के लिए, सहयोग करने के लिए समझाएं, उसका नेतृत्व करें। और इस काम के लिए राज्य स्तर पर, जिला स्तर पर, शहर स्तर पर, ब्लॉक स्तर पर, इतना ही नहीं, थाने स्तर पर ऐसे समाज के धर्मगुरुओं की मीटिंगें तत्काल कर लेनी चाहिए।
Looking ahead, Prime Minister said that it is important to formulate a common exit strategy to ensure staggered re-emergence of the population once lockdown ends. He asked the states to brainstorm and send suggestions for the exit strategy. He reiterated the importance of social distancing in preventing the spread of COVID-19. Union Home Minister Amit Shah was also present at the interaction. He stressed on the need to implement lockdown more strictly in some states and the importance of effective district-level implementation of the guidelines issued by the centre. Sudhakar Das's report, DD India.
Well, talking about this video conference, Prime Minister Modi today, in fact, interacted with the chief ministers via video conferencing to discuss these measures, macro and micro, to combat COVID-19. We're going to now talk about the big takeaways of Prime Minister's interaction with the chief ministers, Prime Minister's outreach to the chief ministers, the big takeaways. Remember, Prime Minister said India has achieved some success in limiting the spread. Prime Minister also forewarned the global situation, saying that it remains far from satisfactory. At the same time, Prime Minister emphasized on testing, Tracing, isolation and quarantine, these should be the focus areas. Prime Minister also emphasized that the imperative or the most significant thing right now is to work continuously on war footing, and also at the same time urging states to identify the hotspots of the virus, encircle them and isolate them. He urged that there has to be uninterrupted supply of essential commodities, which also includes essential medical products, and at the same time the raw material that is used for manufacturing medicines and medical equipment. The need of the hour is to not break the chain, the supply chain. Prime Minister also emphasized that there has to be separate and dedicated COVID-19 hospitals, and also at the same time a mechanism wherein the resource pool of the Ayush doctors will also be optimally utilized. Besides that, he's talked about online training and utilization of paramedical staff from verticals like NCC, NSS, volunteers as well. He talked about crisis management, making crisis management groups at district level. District surveillance officers should also be appointed. And Prime Minister talked about staggered release of funds under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana in order to avoid a lot of crowding in banks. In fact, remember, this is the second such interaction in less than 2 weeks on this critical issue of COVID-19 outbreak by the Prime Minister and the related matters, and the first, in fact, after the central government imposed a 21-day national lockdown. Remember, it started all on 25th of March. The last interaction, in fact, took place on March 20th this month, in fact, last month, and Union Defence Minister, Health Minister, Principal Secretary, Cabinet Secretary, Home Secretary, DGICMR also participated in this interaction, a very, very comprehensive interaction. The meeting that was in fact taken by Prime Minister through video conferencing. And Prime Minister Modi will also be sharing a video message with countrymen tomorrow. That's Friday. Prime Minister held a meeting with the chief ministers on the COVID-19 outbreak. We gave you the big takeaways of that meeting just a while back. And in this tweet, Prime Minister Modi has said, and I quote, let's play out that tweet for our viewers. At 9 a.m. Friday morning, I will share a small video message with my fellow Indians. We'll have to see what this Prime Minister's message tomorrow is going to be all about. Prime Minister regularly reaching out to the nation on this issue. Meanwhile, World Health Organization Director General Dr. Tedros has praised the efforts taken by the Indian government. He has praised the efforts of the government of India and specifically and particularly Prime Minister Narendra Modi's efforts for announcing a $24 billion package to support countries' vulnerable population during the current crisis. And during a media briefing yesterday, WHO chief said that Prime Minister Modi has announced $24 billion package, including free food rations for 800 million disadvantaged people, cash transfers to at least 204 million poor women, and free cooking gas for 80 million households for the next 3 months. WHO DG has also said that many developing countries will struggle to implement social welfare programs of this nature, adding that for those countries, debt relief is essential to enable them to take care of their people and avoid economic collapse. Lessons from India. Now, he's also called upon the World Bank and International Monetary Fund to work for these debt relief for developing countries. WHO chief has said that he has called on governments to put in place some sort of social welfare schemes or measures to ensure that these vulnerable sections have access to food, they have access to other essential commodities during the current crisis.
Many countries are asking people to stay at home and shutting down population movement, which can help to limit transmission of the virus, but can have unintended consequences for the poorest and most vulnerable people. I have called on governments to put in place social welfare measures to ensure vulnerable people have food and other life essentials during this crisis. In India, for example, Prime Minister Modi has announced a $24 billion package, including free food rations for 800 million disadvantaged people, cash transfers to 204 million poor women, and free cooking of gas for 80 million households for the next 3 months. Many developing countries will struggle to implement social welfare programs of this nature. For those countries, debt relief is essential to enable them to take care of their people and avoid economic collapse.
So WHO praises the way Prime Minister Modi has led this fight against COVID-19, and in focus tonight we're going to talk about the battle against coronavirus continues. Fighting COVID-19 battle continues vis-a-vis our Prime Minister leading the way, and we're very glad to have in our Doordarshan studios Dr. V.K. Paul, member Niti Aayog. Sir, thank you so much for coming to this show. Professor Sachin Chaturvedi, DGRIS, thank you so much to Dr. Chaturvedi, and also very glad to have Shekhar Iyer, senior economist and senior journalist on the show tonight. In fact, I would like to start with Dr. Paul. Now, your assessment, more than a week, and speculations for what is going to be Prime Minister's larger import of the message tomorrow, the video message that is expected at 9 a.m. Let's begin the discussion on that. And how do you look at the lockdown so far in terms of numbers? Do you think we are almost there when it comes to flattening the curve?
Well, our Prime Minister is leading the fight against COVID for our nation from the front lines. I expect tomorrow that as an elder and the head of our family, he will be giving us further guidance. He will be energizing us and telling us how to move forward as family, as one family of our nation. And today's meeting that the Honorable Prime Minister took with all the chief ministers is a very important milestone, because the fight against COVID outbreak is a national endeavor. It is a federal endeavor. It is the whole of the government and whole of the nation endeavor. And therefore, to have a 360-degree review with the chief ministers and hearing their views and their inputs from the ground level, as well as that making very important point that you articulated and listed, that the Prime Minister conveyed to the nation through the chief ministers is very critical. I would say it essentially is rebooting our efforts and intensifying and fine tuning the efforts of the nation to fight and extinguish this outbreak of COVID-19.
And on the sidelines of it, Dr. Chaturvedi, we continue to have economic boosters. We're looking at, or amidst speculation of the economic slump that maybe we are staring at right now, or we are expecting at the end of the lockdown. There are going to be long-term implications. There's a lot that is done on that front in terms of the economic parameters, but do you still feel lot needs to be desired? We were in fact one of the, if I'm not wrong, one of the first big developing nations to in fact come out with such a huge package.
Absolutely right. If you hear, and I think your report covered what the statement the Director General of WHO made today, I think it's absolutely clear we were among the first ones to have taken care of both by the fiscal policy managers led by the Finance Minister herself, and at the monetary level by the Governor, Reserve Bank of India. So, both the actors came together, their policy pronouncements were supplementing each other and have tried to bring out the deferment of the credit commitments, the stimulus package that was expected, and of course, the Prime Minister himself was particularly concerned about people in the informal sector, people who would be adversely affected in the urban areas and semi-urban settings, their livelihood security, their financial commitments. All different measures have been announced, and now I think as we are all planning for soft landing after the opening of the
lockdown, yes.
Lockdown, I think it's important that we see sectoral imperatives of
let me take this opportunity or liberty to extract some extra information from member Niti Aayog, honorable member Niti Aayog. Soft landing, are we approaching towards the soft landing? He means what happens after 21 days?
Well, it will depend on how well we have done. What is our assessment of how the future challenges have to be met? The lockdown has to end on a certain date for sure. but there could be a preparation in place. There has to be a preparation in place, and we have to be very mindful. We have to base it on our ground situation, epidemiology,
Yes.
science, and our balance between economic
Slow down or slump,
so
yeah.
to say, as well as saving lives of people.
Absolutely. Shekhar, but then Markaz happened, and then the migrant workforce issue happened, and yes, it added to the issue, it added to a lot of problems. We're still trying to do damage control, and there were preemptive measures in place, but then after that, the states have been pulled up. They're doing the needful in terms of containing whatever damage has been done. In fact, assessment will come, I think, after 2 weeks. What is your assessment as far as the rate of this spread, the numbers that we are looking at on daily basis?
Shakal, I think we are standing at the threshold of a very, very crucial moment. We know for a fact that the disease has reached a point in India where next 1 week, I would say, at best next 2 weeks are very crucial for us to map out the full impact. Actually, how many of those cases get blown up, how many of those cases lead to fatality. So, these are something that has to be assessed. So, right now there is the question on everyone's mind is, where is this going to end? When are we going to get back to our normal routine? Now, this is the question on everyone's mind. It's very natural. Yes, there are huge economic costs. We knew from the beginning the Prime Minister had two choices. Either you save lives or you get ready for a economic impact that we know that is bound to happen, because when you put everything to stop, it's bound to happen. So, the next few days is going to see how the government and the experts assess both the nature of the disease, the spread of the disease, and how we have contained it, what is the impact of our containment, and how do we get back on the rails, how do we get the economy moving. Is it going to be sector wise, because one thing is coming clear, you see, in the last Mann Ki Baat that the Prime Minister addressed the nation, he gave us a hint that by the next time I go on the air and speak to you on Mann Ki Baat, I feel maybe this lockdown is not necessary, which is the last week of April, because it's the last Sunday of every month that he talks to us through the radio. That was one indication of probably what is in Prime Minister's mind. The second thing is, what is coming clear as we saw Prime Minister address the Chief Ministers was
Today, yes.
to request them to work on some kind of a synergy and a
Yes.
coordinated action that ensures that there is a staggered way of the population mix up. In the sense, you do not overnight open up everything and say, okay, from April 15th.
And Prime Minister also
So
said
therefore-
that we have achieved
therefore I
some
think-
success. What can you just decode it? We have achieved some success in limiting the spread, though. I mean, we do not see, fortunately, there is no sudden spike as far as numbers that are going up. But then at the same time, it's not that we're not getting numbers. And as we speak today, 53 fatalities is what we are looking at. Very quickly, sir, Niti Aayog.
No, it is true, because the full effect of the Janata curfew and then more social distancing that happened further triggered by Janata curfew in the next 2-3 days, and then the lockdown. This impact, the positive impact of this will happen, I would expect about 10 to 12 days afterwards. That means we should start to see this in the next 2 to 3 days. It will happen because the whole chain cannot be the same as it was before it. So, we will see an impact, it will come down. But the issue is that when we start resuming our activities once again, how prepared we are, how sensible we are as a nation, that at that time when our preparedness in terms of medical preparedness would be much better.
Are we well placed now when it comes to EPIs? Niti Aayog
Of
is
course, this is
constantly taking meetings with pharma leaders and roping in private labs. This is something which is now happening on daily basis, and in fact, Health Ministry is coming up with numbers also in terms of how many labs
that is a very
have got
major
clearance.
gain of this golden time that has been bought, that we are able to put in place the health system, the supplies, we are able to prepare the entire health system, we are preparing our surveillance system, our capacities in every which way, so that when the things move to the next phase, and God forbid if the numbers start to rise again, we are much better prepared. And there is no doubt this is a very valuable time that we
Yes.
have got, and we have the advantage of best practices from other countries.
Yes, and I think going by the words of WHO Chief Dr. Chaturvedi, they're looking at India as a template to contain this crisis. I want Shekhar Ayer's thoughts also on this, and you also, please, Dr. Chaturvedi.
No, definitely. I think if you look at the multi-pronged strategy that we evolved right from day one in terms of addressing the financial and economic requirements, in terms of localizing our strategy, though the center played an important role in nudging states, but states were encouraged, and today's video conference by Prime Minister emphasized at the district level surveillance officers and forming task forces. Prime Minister has also given this new approach in terms of blurring away the distinction. So, if you look at the idea of where would the farm produce go, so APMCs had already captured the monopoly that they had. Farmers did not have any option. Today, Prime Minister has again urged the state governments to create that option. Your report also mentioned about Prime Minister emphasizing in terms of leveraging the strength of the Ayush sector.
Yes, yes.
Dr. Paul earlier mentioned about public-private partnership. So, these were some of the taboos that in last 70 years we created, and Prime Minister has really demolished all 4 of them.
But Shekhar Iyer, you raised a very pertinent point of what is the plan in place. I mean, right now we are saying that, okay, we're doing everything possible in all sectors, but then, you know, this is a situation where you cannot really have a perfect plan to deal with it, or can we have a perfect plan to deal with it? Do you think we could have done better?
No, you see, it's always easy to say in hindsight, we could have done this, we
Yes.
could have done that. But nobody ever expected this particular disease. I mean, the whole world, you are seeing countries like United States, Italy, France. I mean, this is not something that we have bestowed. But what we have to appreciate at this juncture is, ours is a country of so many people, so many towns, so many villages. But we can see that lockdown has had impact on at least, I can say, 99% of the places. Now, we have had problems. Yes, we had these problems because of, you know, the fake news and fake WhatsApp, suddenly people trying to leave, and then we have had problems with a religious congregation taking place despite ban orders in force. Now, these are challenges in a democratic a system like ours, but then authorities are trying to meet it, and we must appreciate the way the doctors have gone about their job.
Yes,
For
yes.
instance, the reports in some places where doctors came under attack when they went to identify cases. Now, these are very unfortunate happenings, but nevertheless, our health workers, you know, our doctors and nurses and our lab technicians, so many of them have withstood this anger, because
Yes.
it is understandable. This is not a normal time. I mean, because even right now, what is the message that is coming? This is not the time to relax. Today, the Home Ministry has written to the DGPs of all states, please, I mean, just a week has gone. There are 2 more weeks are left. These are crucial time. Don't relax. Don't allow anybody out on the street, because sometimes in a country like ours, a lot of us understand the impact, but a lot of us do not understand. A lot of us get misguided. So this is the moment when we need to, you know, be where we are and take stock of it, because I'm sure the government is getting input from several sources, because it's not government idea that the lockdown should continue for a good length of time. That's not the government's view. But the point is, the nature of this virus is such, because there are lots of research reports of being a second wave and third wave, even in China, which has now claimed a huge success. So we have to be prepared for any eventuality, but at the same time, I'm sure the government is aware how to, to take care of the economic side. And in our country like ours, it's not just the organized sector, there's an
Economics.
unorganized sector too.
Yeah, can you respond to that? Yes.
No, definitely. I think if you look at world over, whether Germany, which is one of the biggest economies in Europe, within EU, France is another major economy, and then you also find the European Central Bank. They all have evolved mechanisms where they are trying to respond to the crisis by coming up with stimulus packages or the deferment of payments, the loan payments that are there, also trying to come up with packages that are important in terms of handling the huge unemployment they are going to land up with. Even United States is grappling. So the challenges are immense, and in our country we would have to see how we are going to cope up with as if you see 45% of India's GDP comes from the external sector. Trade is our major source of earning if you look at
That's
the
badly
larger
hit.
and this is something which has completely collapsed.
Totally.
So you would have to see how you localize the production chains here, how you enhance domestic production, in what way you give. Today the numbers that came out of the collection of the GST, they are already going down. So we would
Okay.
have to see how we are going to cope up with the diverse challenges.
So the crisis doesn't close with the closing of 21-day lockdown. If at all, God willing, we end this lockdown chapter, or we don't know. But then I think after that, the real battle starts. But do we have a blueprint for that?
Yes.
Especially the points raised by Dr.
Yes, indeed. That's why the empowered groups have been constituted, and these groups are working 24/7 to come out with a plan which is relevant to the specific areas, and the actions are already being taken. Several actions have already been taken. For example, on the goods movement, already decisions have been taken. But I want to take this opportunity
Sure.
to make two very important points in general. One, this battle cannot be won only by the Sarkari, the public sector health system. No way. We must have a fullest participation of the private sector. We are one India, one
What's
sector.
the response that you are getting from
Extremely
private
nice.
Okay.
Extremely great. I want to congratulate the private sector hospitals and private providers for the way they have come forward. But I would like to state that be ready to look at how you want to be able to connect beyond just making arrangements in your own hospitals, but in a much bigger way, because that participation is crucial. So that when we create COVID hospitals, they are seen to be located in the public or the private space. We transfer patients to each other, we provide facilities to each other. So I think the private sector has done tremendously well, the total participation, but when it comes to specifics, we have much more to be done,
But
because
what are
much
your
of the
grey
critical
areas?
care,
What are the grey
much of the
areas?
critical care is located in the private sector. There will be demand therefore for the private sector colleagues to come forward. That's one. Secondly, the telemedicine guidelines, how the practitioners have to and the patient have to transact the telemedicine based consultation have been released by the Board of Governors, Medical Council of India, and they are on the website. Now this has happened. This work was already in progress, but it came so handy
Okay.
in this phase. I want to request the patients as well as the doctors, please carry out your consultations on phone. This guideline provides you the framework, provides you the statutory framework within which it is safe. We are under the National Disaster Management Act, so you are protected. Please give consultation on phone. Please use e-prescriptions. Please talk to your patients. Patients, I encourage them to reach out to the doctors, because this is a time when we don't want patients to throng the outpatient
What
department,
has
because
been
they
the
are all in
response
readiness.
so far? Shekhar, you want to make a point here?
No, I think it's a very, very valid point that Dr. Paul has made, that we need to bring in this video way of consultation or a WhatsApp way of consultation, and there is a way of even e-payments that can be made for whatever consultations are done. This is something.
Go further in terms of
So I wanted to know, sir, at the very outset of this news.
Yes,
People have made some choices, and I think Dr. Paul is absolutely right that you would have to absorb technology. You would have to
Our team goes
the phone penetration is there in amongst all of us. So
far.
Well,
We're like halfway through now.
Well,
Arogya Setu. This will enable people to access themselves the risk for their catching coronavirus infection. It will calculate this based on their interaction with others using cutting-edge Bluetooth technology, algorithms and artificial intelligence. And under the directions of Union Home Minister Amit Shah, the Ministry of Home Affairs has blacklisted at least 960 foreigners present in India on tourist visas for their alleged involvement in Tablighi Jamaat activities. Ministry of Home Affairs has also directed DGPs of all concerned states, union territories and Commissioner Police, Delhi, police as well to take necessary legal action against all such violators on priority basis under relevant sections of the Foreigners Act 1946 and Disaster Management Act 2005. The Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Foreign Affairs has issued detailed guidelines on dispersal of money to beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana through banks during 21-day lockdown to fight COVID-19. And in pursuance of these guidelines that you see on your screen, Secretary Union Home Ministry for Home Affairs Ajay Kumar Bhalla has written to all states, union territories, requesting them to take all necessary measures to ensure smooth dispersal of money to the beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Gramin Kalyan Yojana while observing norms of social distancing. The concerned departments of the state governments or union territories or administration, district authorities and field agencies may be informed about these guidelines for strict compliance. Home Minister Amit Shah has said that the world is praising the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. In a tweet, he said, under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, India's efforts to fight coronavirus are being lauded domestically and globally. 130 crore Indians are united to defeat COVID-19, yet situation and his measures, including the nationwide lockdown, have received praises from the world.
The whole world is praising India for timely action. And people have made lockdown successful. There will always be pain and there will always be hurdles or there will be hardships. But government, with cooperation of all people, state governments, district administration and everybody and NGOs and with all parties' support, we are doing laudable job which world is praising, and therefore we can discuss and political discussion can take place only after we defeat corona. Till that time we have to work in unison, work in one direction, and we have to be united in this fight against corona. I hope that wisdom will prevail on Congress leadership also. Everybody needs to be on one page, on same page, and therefore we are just registering our comment, but I hope that such comments won't happen till we defeat corona.
Also, senior BJP leader and Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has said that the country is showing united resolve in the fight against coronavirus, and at such times it seems shocking in many ways that Sonia Gandhi has chosen to question the lockdown.
Srimati Sonia Gandhi
Today on Thursday, in fact, carried about 1.62 lakh metric tons of food grain stock since the day of lockdown, that is March 24th. FCI says that it has moved 410 rigs carrying an approximate quantity of 11.48 metric tons. National Cadet Corps or NCC has offered a helping hand to civilian authorities in the country's fight against COVID-19 by extending the services of cadets under Exercise NCC Yogdan. It has issued guidelines for the temporary employment of its cadets to augment relief efforts and also functioning of various agencies involved in battling the pandemic. The task envisaged for NCC cadets, including manning of helpline, call centers, distribution of relief material, medicine, food and essential commodities, community assistance, data management, and queue and traffic management. According to the guidelines, cadets should not be employed in handling of law and order situation or for active military duties or at hotspots. Only senior division volunteer cadets about 18 years of age will be employed. They should be employed in small cohesive groups of 8 to 20 under the supervision of permanent instructor staff or an associate NCC officer. For employment of the volunteer cadets, state government or district administration has to send the requisition through state NCC directorates. And now let's talk about the Press Information Bureau fact check unit that has today or Thursday released 3 fake news reports. Now let's take a look at these reports. The first report that you see on your screen relates to fake circular being forwarded in various platforms about a press release claiming to have been released by CBSE. The second fake news is about this circular report which has been issued by the Medical Council of India, but this is a fake report. That's the CBSE report, and the other one is from the Medical Council of India. It's a fake report. Don't go by that. And my colleague Jaya Sinha took a look at the ground situation in Delhi's Dwarka, where community centers.
All the roads and markets are completely closed. While administration is ensuring complete lockdown, but at the same time, every effort is being made to ensure availability of essential commodities to people. Food Corporation of India is daily supplying 60,000 metric tons of rice and wheat into Jammu and Kashmir. According to FCI, there is enough quantity of rice and atta available in FCI godowns, adding every day 2,600 metric tons of rice and wheat is arriving from Punjab in good strains to Jammu. At present, there is about 5 lakh metric tons of rice and atta available in Food Corporation godowns in Kashmir and about 2.5 lakh metric tons in Jammu. From Jammu, rice and atta is loaded in trucks and sent to Kashmir for people. We talked to FCI manager about the availability of food grains in the FCI godown. This is what he said.
मेरे एरिया में जो साहब GM साहब और मेरी पूरी टीम और लेबर हम यहाँ पे ये सुनिश्चित कर रहे हैं कि जम्मू कश्मीर में किसी तरह से भी अनाज की कमी ना हो, जिसके लिए हम पूरा कोशिश कर रहे हैं, पूरा अपना जोर लगा रहे हैं और हमारी टीम पूरी टॉस पे है अपने और हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट पे हम यहाँ से सप्लाई भिजवा रहे हैं ताकि किसी भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में अनाज की स्कैरसिटी ना हो.
With enough stock of food grains available in Jammu and Kashmir UT, people should not bother about the supply of essential commodities and should not believe in rumors about the shortage of food grains in the Union Territory. This is R.K. Rana for DD India from Jammu.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi had a telephonic conversation today on Thursday with the Federal Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel. The two leaders discussed the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the situation in their respective countries, and the importance of international collaboration for fighting the health crisis. They have also self-isolation a week after shaking hands with a doctor who has now tested positive for coronavirus. The Kremlin says his health is fine, but he will receive daily testing. Much of Russia, including the capital Moscow, is now in lockdown mode as deaths have climbed there to 24. Our Moscow correspondent Lucy Taylor reports.
Vladimir Putin admitted that the situation in Russia has become more complicated. He was speaking by video from his home after announcing that he'll be working remotely from now on. Last week, he visited Moscow's main coronavirus hospital, and while he wore a bright yellow hazmat suit when visiting patients there, he didn't take such precautions when meeting the staff. He was wearing just a business suit when he met and shook hands with the hospital's chief doctor, a man who on Tuesday was diagnosed with coronavirus. The Kremlin said everything is fine with President Putin's health and he'll be tested daily along with everybody else who was on that tour. But he's not the only person here who's changing the way they work. Moscow is in lockdown since last Monday. Most people not allowed out of their homes with few exceptions. Most businesses are now closed. Many of them say they may struggle to survive despite some financial measures already being announced by the government. But President Putin says those restrictions are justified, necessary and unavoidable, and he called on people in Moscow to approach them with all seriousness. Lucy Taylor in Moscow.
So there was a quick round of situation emerging in Russia. Meanwhile, back home, President Ramnath Kovind, along with Vice President of India M. Venkaiah Naidu, will hold a video. Will be the state. According to the recent report by Broadcast Audio, thrilled to share that the re-telecast of Ramayan on DD National has garnered the highest ever rating for a Hindi GEC show.
तू ही मेरी मंजिल है पहचान तुझी से तू ही मेरी मंजिल है पहचान तुझी से पहुंचूं मैं जहां भी मेरी बुनियाद रहे तू पहुंचूं मैं जहां भी मेरी बुनियाद रहे तू